Okay, so this is going to be a continuation of our previous walkthrough with line, polyline, copy, and scale. So what I'm going to go over here is rotate, hatch, check out properties, and then we'll see where we go from there. So I'm just going to go ahead and move this. So you can just type in move. You also have the move tool up here. So it's going to, once again, going to ask you where to grab it from. So I'm just going to move it up here so we're kind of in our own little space. So here is my object. Now, to rotate it, you can use this rotate tool. Again, it'll ask you how you want to rotate it, okay? Or you can type in RO or type in rotate, either way. Select it, okay, and then where. So depending on where you rotate it is where it will rotate. Now this is solely for 2D, okay, and then it'll ask you your specific angle. So now I should have a straight square. It was a 45-degree diamond. Now I have a straight square, and you can see when I do this that it's going to go in the direction I have it, okay, depending on where I'm pushing it to be. Okay, so if I do another 45, it'll turn back into the diamond. Okay, so that's rotate. You can rotate it from anywhere, out in the middle of space or the object. I would stick with the object. I would make sure my snaps are on so I know exactly where it's being rotated from. Okay, another thing you're going to have to do is hatch, okay? So I'm just going to copy this, and again, I'm going to pick a point that makes sense for me to copy it, right? So now I have points to place it at. And when I zoom in, because I use my snaps, because I focused in on a certain point, there's no discontinuity. It is all joined, okay? Not joined in the sense of it's one unit, but that they come together perfectly, okay? So hatch is adding pattern to your objects. Now it's solely for 2D, and it's typically used in architecture. So in a floor plan or something to indicate wood or stone. But I just want you to understand it. So this little tool up here, that little icon, it's small because it's not a commonly used tool, is hatch. Okay, and as you can see, it creates lines or whatever pattern you want. So you just click on it, and it might take a little bit. See, it's until it pops up. So it's looking for an internal point. If I come out here, it's vast, so you can't. Has to be something that is internal, okay? So I'll do 2, and then I will select these. Now notice, I did 2 at the same time, so they're going to continue to be a unit. If I had hatched 1, enter, hatch the next, enter, hatch the next, they would be individual. But because these 2 were added at the same exact time, they're going to be considered a unit, okay? And you can change your pattern by changing, this is the scale, okay? And then you can change the angle. Okay, whoops, to be 50. And you can also change the transparency. So if you want it to be a little bit lighter than the rest of the line weights, that's what these are called, line weights, then you can change that as well. Now, if I wanted to put a different pattern, say this angle, select it. You also have more here in the drop down. So I want to put some bricks in here and here. Okay. And if you notice, they're one unit, and 2, they align. So you don't have this discontinuous space if you're walking downstairs, so to speak, in your floor plan, things like that. So if you noticed, this property window is up in my workspace. Now, the reason that this is helpful is it can change the color, it can change the line weight, it can change the thickness of your lines. Depending on what you have selected, it'll change a bunch of different properties. So I'm going to pick this outline. So if I want that outline to be red, I can change the color here. Okay. The same with the hatch. So escape, so that's no longer active. And say I select this hatch. Now maybe I want the hatch to be a different color so that it stands out. All right, so that is hatch properties. Now scroll through it and make sure that you don't have any other changes you want to make, but for the most part, that is rotate, hatch, and properties.